German Foreign Minister Annalena Baerbock is in Vilnius as she wraps up a three-day trip to the three Baltic states. Russia's invasion of Ukraine has dominated the agenda during her trip. Speaking alongside her Lithuanian counterpart, Baerbock stressed Germany's support for the NATO alliance and for strengthening regional security in the face of the growing threat from Russia. She also played down the prospect of a quick ceasefire, much less an end to the war in Ukraine.
There cannot be a ceasefire at any price. We cannot accept a dictated peace. Only the Ukrainians and the Ukrainians alone get to decide their future. We should not be under any illusions about that, as bitter and as difficult as it may be to accept. Having tried time and again to reach a common security policy in Europe with Russia as our partner, Putin's Russia has forced us to take a new path. Today, above all, we must now protect ourselves from Russia.
Let's bring in our political correspondent Hans Brandt here. Hans, the German foreign minister there saying Europe needs to protect itself from Russia. Did she offer any details on how Europe should do that?
Well, she's been saying in these Baltic states that she's visited for the last 3 days that every inch, every last corner of the NATO territory would be defended against Russia in the case of an attack from Russia. And the last corner she was talking about was the Baltic states. In those states, there has been for the last 5 years or so the so-called tripwire policy. They have stationed smaller units of NATO troops there, and if Russia should attack those units, then that would trip the response from the NATO countries against Russia. And the Baltic states have said that is not enough, that this is not enough protection for them in the light of how Russia has operated in Ukraine. And the German foreign minister has now said that she supports the calls by the Baltic states to increase the military presence of NATO countries, NATO troops in their states. Germany itself has stationed quite a large number of troops in Lithuania and is prepared to increase those.
Now, Baerbock has been touring those three Baltic states over the past few days. All of those states have called on Germany to do more for Ukraine, including delivering weapons. Has there been any movement by the German government on that front, Hans?
Yes, there's been some confusion, especially in terms of communication from various members of the German government about this in the last few days. And now I think some clarity has emerged. Germany is not going to deliver heavy weapons out of its own arsenals because it says it just simply does not have them available. What's going to happen is that Slovenia, as the first country, will deliver heavy weapons, will deliver tanks to Ukraine. And those gaps that then exist in Slovenia will be filled by supplies from Germany within a few weeks or months. So this kind of chain reaction, as it were, has been agreed on. In addition, Germany is offering to give not only money but also maintenance and training for some of the systems that are going to be supplied. And some of that training is likely to happen in Lithuania and other Baltic states.
Hans, thank you very much. Our political correspondent, Hans Brandt.